So when we have a session, when we have a session, so the session is having different kind of phases. Normally, your session is having a different kind of stage. So how really I have to ask the question in the class? What kind of question I have to ask in the classroom, so that the whole teaching learning process become more live, more engaging. That is very much important in the formative assessment. Normally, we have a questioning skill, right? The questioning skill, some of you may be aware. Maybe one skill I will tell you. There are so many skills are there. One skill is called the triple P skill. Triple P, or nowadays people asking. See, normally in the pedagogy, people will put a different word. Triple P is a very fundamental. That is, pose a question, then pause, then pounce. What is the meaning is? See, what is happening among students? See, once I pose the questions, then I give a pause for 1 or 20 seconds, or 10 seconds. Then I look around the class, then I'm asking the question, right? Pose a question, then I'm pausing for 10 seconds, then I pounce to identify someone. So what is happening? During the pause, each student thought that the question is maybe to me. Okay, the teacher may identify myself as to respond the answer. So everyone will think about the answer. Or at least everyone will request the neighboring student what will be the answer. What is the answer for the question? Like they think about what is the answer, right? Suppose they just thought about the answer, and you are identifying one student and asking the answer. In all other students listening the particular student, why they are listening is whatever the answer I thought, which is matching with that answer or not. If it is matching, sometime you will be very happy, or we are all very happy. That student is very happy. Suppose if it is not matching, what is happening? Then they will look to the teacher, whether the teacher what is going to tell, whether that answer is correct or whatever the answer I thought is correct. So there is an activity happening behind the screen. Okay, within our mind, within the student mind. So that kind of a questioning. Sometimes what happen, I'm asking the question directly to a particular student. Why? Because that student is not listening to my class. By observation, I could understand. So by the way, other student thought that this is the business between Shanmuganidhi and Sanmugasundar sir. That is the way they will think. Other student will think. Nobody will thought about what is the answer. So, different scenario, we are asking different kind of a question directly to a student, or a triple P method, right? But whatever, how we are giving the feedback or a reward to the student after answering the correct questions, and we should not ridicule the incorrect answers. How we are bringing the right answer from the student is very much important than ridicule the answer. The second way of assessment, as already I told you, what is called formative assessment. Second form of assessment is a summative assessment. Summative assessment. So that is assessment of learning. So this is assessment for learning. Assessment of. So what is the meaning here? Is assessment of. This is a summative end assessment where it is again very much important. It is again very much important. Right? It is again very much important. Presentation. Yeah. To grade the system in education. So we have to, as a right teacher, I have to identify who is the best studied student, who did not study the content. So all the thing I have to identify. The teacher has to give the good mark to the studied student, and the student who did not study, or the student is not performing well, that student has to get the right mark that side. Okay, so all that distribution has to be properly happen in the class. Otherwise, the teacher is not rightly identifying the studied student and the student who did not study the content. Even in the working environment also, we have to see. Actually, a higher authority must understand who are all working in that environment, who are all not working, and who need some help for further improvement, or who need, so there is a different, way, motivation needed or something needed for them, so that they will come up. Or someone is specialized in that activity. If I give that kind of activity, then they will be good. So such a thing we have to understand. A higher authority understand which activity I have to give which employee. That thing is happened. So that way, as a teacher, we should understand, or we should be very clear in the grading. So that grading is bringing from the summative assessment. But this is normally one-time activity. So one-time activity, it is a very important activity. maybe today, maybe is it possible to interact now? Will you able to chat? Will you able to put chat here? Anybody, can you type? Say, what is the issues in assessment? Anybody, what are the issues particularly in assessment? Maybe anybody can type in the chat box so that chat box is there. Can you type it? Some issues in the assessment. What are the issues? Why the assessment? The students are fearing on the assessment. Fearing on the assessment. Why? What is the reason? Dear participant, being partial, wonderful, sir. Being partial. Sometimes it being partial, very nice. Yes, very good. Somasagar, sir. Yes, please. Participant, can you type? Why the students feel that? See, sometimes suppose I'm asking a question to Madam Ramya Vijay, Madam. Immediately Ramya Vijay, Madam thought. I am just listening to the class. Why Shanmuganidhi specifically asked to me, or I'm asking to Dr. V. Nagaraj sir, what is the answer for this assessment of learning? Nagaraj sir may think that, why I am simply listening the lecture. Suddenly, why particularly Shanmuganidhi identified me. So the same way, the student sometimes thought that when I identify a particular student and I'm asking the question, the student feel that, it is like a threatening situation than the encouraging situation. But bringing the encouraging situation is in our hand. Okay, the student should not feel as the threatening situation. Okay, so ranking system, yes, please, yes. Changing examination pattern. Actually, nowadays everyone think about the examination reforms. Okay, examination reforms mostly dealt about continuous assessment than the one-time assessment. That is what happening. Lack of practice in writing. Yes, today the main concern of the 2K kids or 21st century students, the main concern, lack of text literacy, lack of text writing literacy. Actually, that is again, they are not good in organizing the content. Okay, good. Ambiga madam. Yeah, very nice. Yes. Anybody? Anyone? Please. No, you can type if you are able to type. Please. Yeah, lack of knowledge. Yeah, single sir. Yeah, lack of knowledge. Actually, yeah, you are all right. But I wanted to consolidate your answer that today why assessment has become a threatening situation is the students thought that assessment is everything. Okay, for example, today you see NEET exam or any entrance examination. In fact, it is a all over a national program. Particularly in many states, some students are they are doing a suicide after the results of NEET or some entrance examination. What is the reason behind? They thought that the test result is the most important than anything in the life. So test has become such a threatening activity, in our system. Okay, in our system. Why it is happening like that? Normally, if you have a continuous assessment, now I think in fact, we could appreciate that some JEE exam, right? JEE, where the students are having the opportunity to write more than once. Okay, which is the higher mark they can take. Maybe in future that NEET exam. So why the student is having the confidence? If I'm not performing this assessment, maybe in the college we are having assessment 1 and assessment 2. If I'm not performing in assessment 1, I can do assessment 2. The assessment 2 will compensate an assessment 1. So like we can have a continuous assessment, that is assessment for learning. But assessment of learning is a one-time assessment. If here the student feel that if it is only assessment, then it will be a big problem. That is the reason one participant said that there need to be a reform. Okay, there need to be a reform or a pattern. So how we are giving equal importance on continuous assessment as well as a summative assessment. Summative assessment is also very much important to grade them, as well as what is called the continuous assessment is also important for grading the putting or complementing the assessment of learning. Right? And another very important thing is assessment as learning. Already I told you, for the student we have to develop the what is called independent learning, right? See, I have to adjust myself how I have to do my independent learning. You just think about it. Maybe I will draw a small graph. I will draw a small graph. A line graph I will draw. Actually, this is the time. This is the time. This is the ability. The x-axis is the time. Y-axis is the ability. X-axis is the time. Y-axis is the ability. Assume that a concept. Assume that a concept Y. A concept Y. A student is developing some competency on this concept or some ability on this concept based on a particular course. So maybe here there are a different level of ability. There are a different level of ability. That ability maybe according to revised Bloom's taxonomy, understand ability, apply ability, analyze ability, evaluative or creative, such a kind of abilities are there, right? Normally, the concept of a particular course, once they learn, then the ability level, maybe it will start like that from the schooling and the ability level will reach up to that course. Then once they are learning another course, which may be connected with this course, then the ability level will increase. But up to the college, suppose the college 4 years over, then the ability level will not saturate here. If the student join in a company and they are using that any concepts or that specific concept, their ability level is keep on increasing. How it is keep on increasing, right? It's keep on increasing because of the individual is having the assessment asking, that is independent learning. Independent in their learning. So independent in their learning is very much important for lifelong learning, very much important for lifelong, because I have to adjust myself to learn. Okay, adjusting and myself for learning is such a, maybe when I am saying the statement, it will be looking like a very simple, but that will be a challenging process for every individual, even for me or for you or for a student. How I have to adjust myself so that I can learn further. Okay, I have to identify where exactly. So which content, if I learn, or which subject I can learn further. There I can become an expert. Which subject even I learn, I may not get it, or I need some assistance. All is nothing but the adjustment what I do within myself. So that way, you see how the students are making the adjustment within their learning, or how they are changing their learning pattern in their learning so that they can improve their independent learning. So ultimately, assessment for learning, that is formative assessment, again helping for independent learning, because the formative assessment only they are adjusting themselves for future learning. So by the way, that is also complementing here for independent learning. So independent learning is very much important because abilities keep on increasing over the time. So ability simply will not increase over the time. So once they are connecting the concept, when they are applying the concept in the field, once they are coming with the new project in the field, so that way that the abilities keep on improving. So that learning again, another important thing, right? So what we have discussed so far, we have discussed what exactly assessment, then the types of assessment. Normally how we do the formative assessment during the class, different kind of proceeding. Then grading is also very much important, and independent learning, that kind of culture we have to develop in the classroom, right? So these are the things we have discussed. The next important thing is what we have to understand is what to evaluate. So what to assessment of, what to evaluate. So what to evaluate says, actually, maybe nowadays all the institutions, you are all applying for MBA, right? Where you are all aware the word called GA, that is graduate attribute. So what exactly graduate attribute? See, once a student is become a graduate, the graduate must have a set of characteristics. Any product should have a set of characteristics. Maybe I can have a mobile phone, or I can have a laptop, or I can have a mouse, whatever it may be. It should have a specific set of characteristics to excel, right? So the same way, once a student graduated from the institute, right, and once he or she become a graduate, the graduate is having set of attributes. But what the attributes? The attributes are nothing but the attributes are the three components. The attributes are three components. What are the three components? Cognitive, behavior, skill. You just see the GA graduate attribute. The graduate attribute is combination of these three. But in the combination, one attribute, cognitive may be 80%, cognitive may be 80%, then behavior may be 10%, then skill may be 10%. In another graduate attribute, this will be play 50%, this will be play 40%, this will be play 10%. Then in another one attribute, graduate attribute, the skill may be play 75%. Like, each graduate attribute, if you see in the document, right? Even in MBA document or any other graduate attribute, if you see particularly for technical students for your own domain, each attribute is combination of these three. What these three? The knowledge and attitude. Then the third one is a skill. Knowledge, attitude, and skill. So we say cognitive, then psychomotor, then behavior. That is how their attitude is, right? So the three things, how the individual is improving this one. Why we are looking in this perspective? Because normally we conduct the test. Classroom test, assessment we are conducting. Sometimes we are interacting with the student. We are asking the question and we are listening to the answer. Generally, what is happening? We are not looking at specific ability. For example, today I wanted to make all the students to solve the problem. Okay. So my question is only based on this ability alone, not like explaining or something like that. Or today I wanted to make all the students to think, that's all, think differently, or think what can we do. So my question is only on the specific ability. My test is only on the specific ability. I am not looking for any other ability. Right? So that way, whenever I conduct the test, I have to think about specific ability. So that ability predominant for that assessment, not in general. If we conduct the assessment, if you are conducting a classroom assessment in general, then it's very difficult to identify which student lagging in which ability, so that it is not properly identified, then you cannot properly provide the constructive feedback. So we have a 45 to 50 hours for a whole course in a semester. Maybe almost 10 hours we are spending for some test, or 5 hours we are spending for test or something like that. So where suppose every day if I am spending 10 to 15 minutes for an interaction, for some activity, I have to make that activity specific to identify the individual skills. Okay, so that I can get the data properly, right? Sometimes I'm looking for a specific skill, but some of them they are good in explaining or organizing, but they are not good in skilling on that particular thing. But someone is having the more skill, but they are not in a position to documenting that component. And again, another important thing is attitude of an individual. Okay, so normally if we conduct Inter Chennai, sometimes we are recruiting the people for the project. We see some always very much important is how their curricular activity, that is their course content, how much they scored. Suppose I am looking for 70%, but 70% or 80% once I fix, then second important component is what is their attitude towards the working environment. That is what mainly we always see. Any institution or any organization looking for an individual, they will see how their attitude, whether they will be suit to our need or not, suit to our environment or not. So that way, again, the behavior is very much important. The same way, whenever we conduct the test, how the student in a particular ability, how the student in particular skill, that kind of a question if I ask, then that is alone one assessment, not as all the question I ask, then I get all the detail, but I'm not able to, because one student excel in one, another student excel in, it's very difficult to consolidate the data. So if I put one question specific to the ability, easy to consolidate the data. That way, what we have to do is we have to conduct the assessment to meet the specific to evaluate our cognitive domain, psychomotor domain, and the attitude, affective domain. Right. So 3 domains we have to concentrate properly. Right. The another important thing is we have to integrate the assessment in the instructions. Okay. We have to integrate the instruction. Normally we do. Why I make now here is in the classroom, in the offline classroom, always our assessment is integrating in the instruction. What is the meaning? Delivering the session and always we are asking the question. Delivering the session, asking the question. Delivering the session. So interaction, questions like we ask. But most of the time, in an online classroom, we are not doing this thing. Most of the time we are delivering the content. See the interaction is coming down. Okay, but I wanted to bring more interaction. So how to bring the interaction? So how I have to bring the assessment within my delivery. That is very much important. So there are n number of tools are there in the particularly whenever we go for the digital learning. N number of tools are there, right? Even nowadays, what happened? Video. When we see the video, I do not know how many of you aware of it. Maybe I will put one. AICTE for mathematics. Okay, AICTE for mathematics. Mathematics AICTE. Okay, so here you see. Suppose normally what is happening? Normally, whenever nowadays the students are learning through Swayam, because nowadays online learning is become more popular. MOOCs are more popular. Just even in LMS, in a training program we conduct, or we are giving some video to the student. You see the video, and the student, whether they are listening the video completely or not, it's a very challenging one. But there are many tools. For example, exelearning.net or H5P or this AICTE. When I create a particular lesson, right? So during seeing the video, we are asking some questions. So it is not just moving the video. Sometimes the video moved, but understanding the concept is a challenging one, right? So that way, how even within the video I can integrate the assessment. Within the e-content I can integrate the assessment. Okay, there are many tools are there. So how I am going to use those tools so that I can augment assessment within my learning management system is again augmenting the what is called assessment within the lecture. Okay, so that way how we are using different tool, again it's a very important thing, right? So when we go for detailed of assessment, there are two types of assessment. We used to say one is direct, another one is indirect. Why it is called a direct and indirect? Because in the teaching learning process, there are two components. One is called learning. Okay, the second one is called learning experience. Okay, the two things are very much important. Learning alone is not very much important. If learning alone happening, then the retention of information is not permanent. Learning experience, how it will happen without learning? Sometimes, just I am engaging the class without the content, then it's just engaging, or I can say learning engagement. Okay, so without learning engagement will not happen. Just engagement, it is waste of time. Just engagement is a waste of time. So how I assess the learning and the learning engagement or learning experience of an individual? Okay, so learning need to be demonstrated. Learning experience needs to be described. DD. Okay, DD we say demonstrate. Someone is demonstrating, then the student is having very good learning. The student is demonstrating with the proper describing, then the student is having the learning experience and they really enjoyed the thing. That will be permanent. So this skill only, this component together only, the student will be able to apply the principles and facts in a new situation. Okay, if you are you wanted to make the student to apply the principle and the facts in a new situation, then there should be a learning and a learning experience. Just learning alone will not help in this new situation. Just they will apply, but in another situation they may not. Okay, so learning engagement or learning experience is very much. So this learning is assessed by the direct assessment. The learning engagement or learning experience is assessed by the indirect assessment. So in the direct assessment, there are different strategies out there. Okay, in the indirect assessment also we are having a different strategy. So that assessment component I put into my class so that I get the holistic view of my classroom. So what exactly direct assessment? The direct assessment, mostly today we concentrate most of the time only these two assessments. That is course embedded and standardized test. So course embedded test in the sense, in the everyday classroom, the questioning, every day locally conduct the test. Every day I am giving some assignment, right? Some homework, such a thing I am giving. So it's a course embedded. Then standardized test in the sense, normally we conduct assessment 1, okay, then internal test 1, internal test 2, like, then finally we have a end exam, okay, like, end exam we conduct. So that is, so normally 3 things we are conducting, or sometimes some institutions are conducting 3 internal assessment, best of 2 they like they are calculating. So these kind of a standardized test I wanted to conduct. How really it is reveal the data. Then assessment is portfolio assessment. Nowadays, many institutions started in doing the portfolio assessment. What exactly the portfolio assessment is? In fact, we most of the time talking about curricular activity, but the student is having the co-curricular activity plus extracurricular activity, co-curricular and extracurricular. Curricular activity, the detail anyone can see in the scorecard. So when I see the scorecard, mark sheet, then I can see how the student is in a curricular activity. Co-curricular activities, sometimes they are having the certificate, okay. So most of the time it is, we will not be able to see the detailed co-curricular activity. Extracurricular activity, very difficult to have as a document component, okay. But how I can bring all this together, that is what is called portfolio assessment. A student holistic view I wanted to see. So co-curricular, the student is doing some seminar, the student is presenting a paper, or writing a journal or article, something like that. But extracurricular, how the student taking the responsibility of responsibility for some outreach activity, some NSS activity, or any other kind of social related activity, right? Or any event, some sports or something like that, any kind of a cultural event. So how the student is in extracurricular activity. So all 3 things are very much important to see the student as a holistic. So where we will get it? Most of the time we will not look into CC and EC. We will look only to C alone. That is curricular. That is how they scored in individual component, right? So we have nowadays many institutions started portfolio assessment to have all 3 together. So everyone is having individual file and it is recorded. It is evaluated by the teacher. Okay, it is not just keeping the record. So that's called evaluative portfolio assessment. Okay, portfolio assessment evaluation. That is, the teacher is putting the signature or putting the seal that that is the authentic record. So that way it is happening. Then class case study, how I am bringing into the class. Project based or problem based learning, internship evaluation, thesis, okay, how thesis evaluation, project report. So these are all direct assessment. This already we have discussed. So direct assessment have a different thing. The indirect assessment is more on survey method, more on surveys. Survey only give the what is called the details about the what is the learning engagement. Survey only will give the. So how I have preparing the survey, again it will be a challenging part. For example, one survey I wanted to do, how classroom questioning. Actually, normally nowadays many institutions they are setting up a special interest group, SIG, special interest group. Special interest group is nothing but this group is doing this kind of a survey. Special interest group is doing this kind of a survey. The SIG is doing the survey. I mean, they only do the indirect assessment. So there are so many components in the indirect assessment, classroom questioning, and how the classes, even within the punctuality, okay, the timing. There are so many components are there, right? So in those component, how the student respond, right? So that response we are getting through form of surveys, exit interview, and the external reviewer. All these 3 we are using. For indirect assessment. But always this indirect assessment data will complement again the direct assessment. Okay, sometimes the indirect assessment data will complement. It's not a 2 independent. I cannot say it is classified as a 2 component. Altogether, they both are for the assessment, but each one, direct is complementing to this, indirect to complementing to this. So altogether, it is forming an assessment. That is very much important. Fine. So when I have a direct assessment, indirect assessment, Particularly indirect assessment, we are having a certain plan how to do that one. But direct assessment, when we do, we must have the plan in our system so that the direct assessment can be happened. What is the plan? Actually, very basically nowadays everyone will aware of learning outcomes, or we are talking about course outcome. Course outcome nowadays, all we have seen in our course syllabus is higher level outcome, because very higher level.
Yes, the correct answer is your A part.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Madam, do you have anything, madam? I think some parallel activities going on, right? Yes, please. Okay, fine. Actually, if you see your course, the course outcome is very higher level, because normally we have a 5 course outcome or 6 course outcome. These 5 or 6 course outcomes covering the whole course, Once it is covering the whole course, this 5 or 6 outcome easily can be converted as a question paper. Okay, but are we doing only 5 questions in our question paper for the end exam? No, we almost have a 20 to 30 questions. Okay, so the 5 outcome can be converted, and that 5 outcome covering the whole syllabus. Why not we can ask these 5 questions alone in the question paper to get the student performance? Participants, can you type the chat, answer in the chat box? Participant, will you able to understand my question? Actually, we have a course outcome in your syllabus. There is a 5 course outcome. So each course outcome can be converted as a question simply, right? Why not we can have this 5 course outcome, we can convert as a question, and that can be put into the question paper. Why we are having a 20 to 30 to 40 questions in the question paper? Why? What is the purpose? So again, this course outcome covering the whole course only. Participants will be able to type in the chat box. Will able to type in the chat box. Will able to type in the chat box. Participant, anyone? Time limited. Very nice, Nagaraj sir. Very nice. Time limited. Then. Actually, Nagaraj sir is very much interactive. He is, very much interactive. Very nice, sir. Time limited. Again, whatever the questions I prepared for 20 to 30, again it is, covering the whole course. Again, it is covering the whole course, right? Time limited. Yes, please. Participant, various type of thinking, analyzing, memory. Again, the course outcome is also having various things. Again, we cannot ignore that the course outcome is not.
Problem link in your chat box. You can open that link and please read.
Enthusiasm to do the task timely. Very nice, sir. Very nice, Ravi Kumar sir. We have assessed student based on knowledge level in the outcomes has been written, so we have to access different level of questions. I understand. Very nice, sir. Very nice. Ravi Kumar sir, absolute. In fact, Singals are also enthusiasm to task to do the task timely. Actually, the very important thing is the learning outcomes are very, very higher level. The learning outcomes are very high. One more chat, I got it. Different set of questions to group of people. Yeah, Ramya Vijay madam. Wonderful, madam. Wonderful. So different set of questions. I wanted to ask, question at various levels, various category. Okay, different set of questions. Right? Fine. So the course outcome at very higher level, right? So those course outcome, if I put only 5, normally 5, if I convert the question, the sample may not be suitable to get the exact result. We must need the appropriate sample. So sample size should be appropriate. Maybe you are all aware that after the election, sometime they say that exit poll sometimes may not be true by some media. The reason behind is their sample is not proper sample. Maybe motivated, politically motivated, that you ignore. If really they are doing, but if the sample is not proper, the sample size is not proper, then it will be a the true score we cannot get it. If I wanted to get the true score, the proper sample I have to, so that we have to prepare a learning outcome at micro level. So those learning outcomes are become a question in the question paper at the end. Those learning outcomes, we are delivering to some strategy. So this learning outcome, for example, learning outcome X, learning outcome Y, learning outcome Z. So for this learning outcome, I delivered some content. For this, achieve the learning outcome, deliver the content. Achieve the learning outcome, deliver the content. Right? Then we are conducting the assessment on each learning outcome. So that micro level learning outcome we have to prepare. So preparation of micro level learning outcome is very much important to prepare the question. So learning outcomes, micro level learning outcome is a question bank. Okay. So you need not to go again for the question bank. The micro level learning outcome itself is become a question bank. Then we must have assessment plan. That is a method, the learning target outcome, and what is called the feedback, subsequent action. Because any outcome, if you write in your paper, you write outcome in your note. Okay, you write a outcome in your one outcome you write one outcome you write in your note. Okay, then one question you can one outcome you can write. Then one question you can write in your book. Okay, so you write one question in your notebook. You write one outcome in your notebook. You just observe both. Both are looking this arithmetic. Both are looking same as this arithmetic. That is what ability you are expected on what content. Right? Or define Ohm's law. Define Ohm's law. So define is the ability. Ohm's law is the content. Write an algorithm. Write an algorithm to sort. Okay, set of strings. Okay, so write an algorithm is ability set of strings. Okay, using some programming. That is what on content. Design. Okay, something or use something. We are asking the question like that. So whenever you put use, design, or apply something, so this ability, so don't think that apply means application ability, not like that. Apply can be done. The question word alone is not defining the ability. Along with the content only, it will talk about the ability. So that way, I think if you are talking about the learning outcome, then you should be very clear with what is the ability, what is the content, and the ability, the word alone will not go to the ability level. Okay, evaluate means it is not evaluate ability. Otherwise, mathematics, all questions always say that solve, evaluate, solve, evaluate. So it is not evaluation ability, evaluating ability. Okay, so that way, I am doing, whenever we are preparing the question, the first word or a word in the question will be talk about ability on what content. If you see the outcome also do the same. Outcome also do the same. Exactly whatever the way ability expect on the content. That is the reason already I told you, whatever your outcome, list of micro level learning outcome, it is nothing but the question bank. Easily you can convert. That is the first task. Okay. So now I have a task 1, that is list of outcomes. Once my task 1 over, then I have to bring the assessment plan. Okay, assessment plan. What is my assessment plan is? Yes, I would like to please rename. Okay. Solve real time. Very nice. Okay, fine. So we have assessment plan. So assessment plan is nothing but that assessment method. Which assessment method? Because we have discussed about different assessment method. If I give a literature, then I will give a very big literature, different kind of assessment method, different kind of situation. Okay, different kind of situation, what kind of assessment method we have to use. So that way, assessment method is very much important, but the learning outcome is also very much important. Okay, learning outcome. So see, now I have this kind of a learning outcome, and my assessment method, for example, learning outcome 1 and 2, which assessment method I have to follow? This I have to be properly maintained, or I have to understand. I have to understand. For example, learning outcome 3, 4, 5. I have a 3, 4. So 1 and 2, I am going for the quiz. This is for sample only I am doing. 3, 4, 5, I am going for the standardized test. Then 5 and 6, I am going for the lab. Okay. 8, capstone project. 8 is capstone project. 9 is what is called seminar and assignment. So you see, I have to, when the semester starts, I must have some clarity. So these are all whole learning outcome for the whole course. Okay, so what are the outcome I have to conduct the different kind of what kind of activity I have to do, so that outcome I can clearly see that my student achieve that activity, or where my exact student lacking in that activity, that I have to understand. So once that activity is over, then what action subsequent I have to record this. If I maintain this, then I can get the clarity whether my student achieve that outcome, or really this method reveal that outcome detail alignment. Okay, so that outcome is aligned with the assessment or not. Actually, there are 3 questions. Maybe I can say finally alignment question, learning question, instruction question, assessment question, and alignment question. These 4 are concern of education. So what are all the concern for education is very simple: learning question, instruction question, assessment question, alignment question. What is learning question? What I have to learn, what ability need to be developed. Instruction question: to develop this ability, what instruction strategy need to be followed. What is assessment question? Whether this learning achieved or not by the assessment. And what is alignment question? All 3 are aligned or not. So that may be a little bit like us, this way, but not like this way. What is the meaning? Learning ability is expected, learning outcome is this level, but instruction strategy does not support for that learning. But assessment, again, I am doing this level. So properly not aligned. So this kind of a problem should not be there. So that is the main concern for education. If I wanted to talk about education, only these 3 things only. These are the things only expanded with various pedagogy skills. Okay, so learning question: what exact learning outcome, ability need to be developed, what strategy has to be followed for that particular learning ability wanted to develop, and whether that assessment meet the learning or not. Okay, whether it is really that question is asked, whatever the learned component or not. So that is the thing. So by the way, this method suitable or which method has to be used for assessment question. So that is what I have to have in a subsequent feedback. So if I have this assessment plan, what are the different kind of question items are there? Different kind of question items are there. There are various kind of question items. With this, we will have an activity. Maybe actually just I wanted to give a practices. There are various activity. They see normally we wanted to have a quantitative, and another one is qualitative. So qualitative assessment we do, quantitative, whatever we have discussed more towards on quantitative. That is, it will reveal the result. It will reveal 75. It will reveal 85. It will reveal 45. Okay, some data. So it will reveal some data, right? Some data. A qualitative is actually even in data itself, you can have a quantitative or qualitative. Am I right or not? Maybe people who working in data analytics, you may aware there's a qualitative data and a quantitative data, where you can have a discrete, ordinal, nominal, like you can have a data, a continuous data. Here you can have it like you can have. So here you can have some data like a 75, 85, 45. This kind of a data as quantitative. So there is quantitative assessment practice. When we talk about qualitative, so this quantitative assessment, when I do, what are the different kind of questions I have to follow? What are the different kind of questions I have to follow? So the questions are the test items are different category. The test items are different category. Okay, so there are different kind of questions we can have. How we are going to execute these items in my classroom or in my test? It is again a scientific task, right? The second thing is qualitative. What is that called? Qualitative. Always the qualitative is the student learning. What they can learn is quantitative. What they can do with what they are learning. With what they are learned. So, student learning the content, what they learn, that is what is called quantitative. What they can do with what they learned, that is the qualitative. That is what is called. So here we are talking about rubrics. We talk about rubrics. Rubrics is a tool for doing the performance assessment or qualitative assessment. Then quantitative, we are going for the test items. Quantitative, we are going for the test items. Okay, so actually, maybe we will have a small activity. We will have a small activity. We will have a small activity. That activity may give some interaction for us. Maybe we will have a almost 40 to 50 minutes session. So we'll have a small Kahoot activity. Let me stop sharing. My screen is shared or not? Is it shared? Okay, I will stop share. I will stop share. Okay. Pause. Okay. Now I think, yeah, start. 1 minute. Yeah. Yes. So actually, there is a question from the participant that rubrics and attributes same or different. Actually, I would like to know what is the meaning here. They are giving us attributes, but rubrics is a tool. Okay, it's a tool. I cannot say it's an attribute. Rubric is a tool, yeah, it is a procedure or it's a tool for performance assessment. Okay, it cannot be considered as attribute. Okay, actually, Madam Rani Madam asked the question: rubrics and attributes same or different? Different, Madam. Different. Rubric is a tool, Madam. It's a tool for performance assessment, Madam. Attributes, each and everyone is having attributes. For example, I can have a test, a question paper. Question paper is having an attribute. Rubrics is also having attribute. That is how the criteria, how the rating scale, how the descriptor. So all are attributes of the rubrics. For example, the people from belonging from computer science discipline or anything, general HTML body. So body is the tag. Okay, within the body there are different attributes: body background color, body foreground color, background graphics. Like these are all attributes. Okay, so body is the tag. Like rubric is a tool. Each tool has its own attributes, madam. So exactly both are, I cannot compare the same. I think, madam, did you get it, madam? Did you get it? Rani, madam, did you get it? Yes. So meanwhile, what I will do, I will share my screen. Assume share. Participants, I think will be able to see the screen. All right. Please visit to kahoot.it. Please visit the kahoot.it and enter this PIN number so that you can join in this activity. With this, we will conclude. With this, we will conclude. Okay. So, participants, I think I'm waiting for the players. No one, I think you'll be able to understand. Visit to the site kahoot.it. I think you'll be able to see my screen. You'll be able to see my screen, kahoot.it. Please type kahoot.it. The browser. Open your browser. Type kahoot.it. Ravikumar sir joined. So he's the first, opening batsman of my, match. Fine. Yeah, Venkatesh sir joined. Yes. So please visit kahoot.it. Ambika madam joined. And give this PIN number. Then it will ask your name also. Please write your name. Okay, so that you become a player of this game. So that you can become a Rani madam joined, Lali madam joined. Yes, Rani madam joined. Yes. Please. Because here you see 84 participants are here. 84. At least 40 I need in the game. Otherwise, it's looking like just a gap filling thing. Yeah, please fast. Yeah, only 5 participants. Surprising. Only 5 participants. Surprising. Yes, sir. Yeah. Lisha madam, you join please here. Lisha madam, what you have to do? Sorry, sir. 11. I have a class. Let me. Yes, please, madam. Ramya Vijay, madam. Yes, please. Yeah. Already, actually, I really appreciate Sanmugam Sundar, sir. He started. Actually, sir is also understood that how you were, difficulty in the academic. Okay, nowadays academics also is a big thing, this is your regular activity. If you have a class, you can be just a 5 minutes activity. Okay, we are going to do just a 5 minutes activity. We are going to do. Yes. Ayush, sir. Yes, you can leave, sir. Yes, you can. So I can start that activity. Maybe I thought of many people will join. Yeah, Anand sir joined. Anand sir, your name is not there, sir. Here, Anand sir, your name is not. Yes, joined, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Anand join mantar, sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah, his name is here, sir. Yes, let me start it. Maybe I thought almost 40 to 50 will join, but only 14 people joined from 83 participants. Maybe some of they are having the classes or the meeting, their academic load. Someone is trying. It's loading. Maybe due to their network issue, it is taking some time. Okay, so let me have, we will have almost 1 hour session. Let us see how it's going on. Okay, so let me start with the assessment practices where we will start the question. You just see the layout and you can answer the question. Right? Actually, you can see the question here. Assessment is, then there are 4 options with the 4 color. You have to tick the right color for the correct question. Assessment is, first option is systematic collection of data and provide constructive feedback. That is the first option. You can see that the 4 color and you can answer in the Kahoot. Don't answer the chat box. Okay. Yes. If you are joined, please. Providing only the feedback to the students, or collection of data from the students, or grading the student result. What exactly assessment is? Assessment is a question. You see the question in my screen and you can answer in your screen. See the question in my screen. Answer the question in your screen. Okay. Assessment is, it's a question. Answer is, there are 4 answers. Systematic collection of data and provide a constructive feedback. Providing only the feedback to the students. Collection of data from the students. Grading the student result above. Yeah. So many, actually, really, I'm very happy that many gave a right answer, because already, while explaining, I have given the answer. Fine. Let me move to the next. Actually, Shamla madam is top. Abhilash sir is second. Mary madam third. Then Prabhagar sir top. Priya madam, very nice. They are top. Very quickly they have given the correct answer. The focus of an assessment: content standard, performance standard, learning skills, all the above. I think now everyone practiced. Comfortable with this activity. Content standard, performance standard, learning skill, all the above. Okay, fine. The focus of assessment: content standard, performance standard, learning skill, all the above. Almost 17 participants are here, but only 12 answers I got. Okay, let me see. All gave a right answer. 13 gave a right answer. Very nice. Actually, Shamla madam not answered. I think she went out, and Abhilash sir came up. Shamla madam moved to second, but Prabhagar sir, Ambika madam came up, and Priya madam in the same position. Next question. Third question. Assessment is in the form of an activity conducting a test alone, only by questioning, or providing the test result. What exactly the assessment is? Already I am keep on using the word. Assessment is in the form of an activity, or only assessment means conducting the test. Is it an option? Or only by questioning, providing the test results. So which one is correct answer? Yeah, almost 12 answers I got. Assessment is in the form of an activity, conducting a test, only by questioning, providing the test results. Yeah, someone is waiting for feedback link. Okay, there. Okay, let me move. Again one more. Fourth is answer. Yeah, it's an activity. Already I told you very clearly. Assessment is the form of activity, maybe an interaction or a questioning or a discussion or observing. It is an activity. I think most of them giving that. Providing the test result, it's only a data. You are giving the data. Okay, assessment is an activity. With that activity, you are collecting the data and providing the constructive feedback. Okay, that is what an activity. Yes. Next. Fourth question. Assessment as learning practices involve. Assessment as learning. So we have discussed assessment for learning, assessment of learning, assessment as learning. Three things we have discussed. Assessment as learning. We have discussed three things: assessment for learning, assessment as learning, assessment of learning, self-evaluation, self-assessment, peer evaluation, peer assessment. Just to have how your idea. Yes, fine. Yeah, almost most of you have given that self-assessment, peer assessment. Very nice, very nice, very nice. So whoever selected the self-assessment, peer assessment, very nice. Then what is called next question is 5th of 10. An effective assessment should, okay, if I'm having an effective assessment, allow student to show what they know, understand, and they can do. Trick the student to getting the questions wrong. Provide opportunity to celebrate and support learning. Let the student know what they cannot do. Okay, 20 seconds. Yes, now almost everyone is answering. Yes, very nice, very nice, very nice, very nice. Okay, let me check. Let me check how many of you have given the right option. How many of you given the right option? Absolutely all gave a right option. Allow the student to show their performance. Yes, fine. Next, 6th question. Summative assessment. Summative assessment is it's always worth 60. Used at the beginning of the session, implemented at the end of the course study is a quantitative. So quantitative. Summative assessment, end assessment. Yeah, almost all answered. 2, 3 more answer. Yeah, let me just quickly move. Next question. There were only 13. Actually, 14 participants were there. Okay. So all gave a right answer. I think only few gave a wrong answer. Yes, fine. Yes, fine. All they are coming up. 7 out of 10. Direct assessment. What exactly direct assessment? We have discussed direct and indirect. So I explained the word. What is exactly direct assessment is? Whether it is describing or demonstrating or changing or modifying. Which one is the correct answer? Which one is the correct answer? Whether the direct assessment is describing or demonstrating or changing or modifying Describe the learning, demonstrate the learning, change the learning, or modify the learning. Which is the direct assessment is. Okay, let me move to the only 12 answers now. Yeah, most of you. Actually, I gave a demonstrate, describe 2 words I have given. See, most of you have listened to the class. Yes, fine. Next question, 8 of 10, true or false question. Assessment in the classroom help the teacher or not? True or false? Assessment in the classroom is helping the teacher or not? Assessment in the classroom helping the teacher or not? Okay, only 12. Only 12. Only 12. Okay, I will skip this because maybe I think only 12 participants. Yeah, 12 people gave a right answer. All 12 gave a right answer. Yes, next question or false question. Learning, instruction, assessment need to be aligned or not? Actually, we have discussed there are education, concern of education. Learning, instruction, assessment need to be aligned or not? It's a true or false? It's a true or false? Yes, only 12 answers. Yeah, I got it within 15 seconds. Fine. Yeah, wonderful. Only one gave a wrong, remaining all gave a correct. So the next one is open-ended. Mention any online tool which you have used for your assessment. You please type your answer. You please type your answer. You please type your answer. You just mention which online tool, any online tool, 1 or 2, whatever. You just type it. You just type it. You just type it. Only one participant type it. So any online tool or any software tool you have used for your assessment. Actually, we used to say what software does is not important. What user does is more important. So how I use the tool for my classroom. So software may have n number of features, but which feature I am using in my classroom so that my students really feel, very interesting to attend the assessment. In fact, we used to have a crossword. Normally, how to prepare the crossword or creative thinking with multiple answers to the same question, subjective question. Okay, subjective question. Subjective question is consisting of more than one answer. Okay, so how such kind of a question we have to prepare? So there are different tools are there, and some games, game based assessment. How to prepare the game, collaborative way of assessment. Right. So like there are different tools are there, online tool, particularly free open source tool, there are a n number. So I would like to know how many of you using different kind of a tool. Okay, let me, yeah, 10 answers. Yeah, 10 answers submitted. Show answers. So let me see most of the quiz. Google, Kahoot, Google Form, Moodle, MCQ, Edpuzzle. Very nice Google quiz. No, Google Meet, Google Classroom. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Actually, let me see that how my participants interacting with my activity. Actually, Ambika madam in the position of third. Then Prabhakar sir in the position of second. And who is in the top? Let me check. Yeah, Abhilash sir in the top. Wonderful, sir. Wonderful. In fact, we have some interaction. My participants, they have listened to my class and they are interacting with me. That shows that the participant interest, okay, towards the lecture. Okay, next. Actually, few participants, it's nearing. Yes, fine. Congratulations, Abhilash sir. Wonderful. So everyone is thank you. Actually, now let me move for any questioning answer. If you have any questions you would like to ask, we will have a 1 or 2 minutes discussion, then we will conclude the session. Please, participant, please. I will open the chat box. If you have any question, you can type. I will try to answer for your question, please. Yes, please. Participants, anybody? If you have any query regarding what we have discussed, maybe it's just 1.5 session, just to give a what is called the overall view of the assessment practices. That's all. Actually, there are a lot of things are there. If I go further, then you will have each question. If you wanted to test what are the guidelines, okay, there are a different guideline for different kind of a question. So all the thing, there is a standard table of specification, and how the rubrics play the role. Right, all the things are there. There is a very big area. Actually, it's a very big area. I would like to know that how really the basic assessment practices you have to understand. That is what we had a discussion within 1.5 hours.
Participants, if you have any queries, you can ask.
Okay, so I will share the detail. I will share the literature. I mean, whatever the literature I have used, I will share to the coordinator. You maybe, if you wanted to use what are the different intrinsics of the assessment, you can make use of it. Yeah, I think no more questions, sir. Everyone is busy with the next session, sir. Everyone is looking for the next session, sir.
already you have conducted a test, sir.
Oh, okay.
Okay, sir. Sir, shall we close the session, sir?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, it's a very actually it's a very nice, very wonderful, excellent interactive session on the topic of education evaluation assessment. And the sir has given how to deliver the lecture and how to maintain the space during the lecture and how to ask the questions, how to encourage the students in the classroom. And he has explained about triple P concept, and he has given a nice explanation about the grading system in education, and also about the independent learning, how to learn themselves and how to equip themselves, and how to deliver the lecture, and what are all the attributes for evaluation. And he has explained about the cognitive and behavioral skill, which are all very important in the education evaluation assessment methods. And what are all the types of assessment? The sir has given a clear picture, and also about a very nice explanation about the important one, the course outcomes, and the preparation of a question paper, and rubrics, and the knowledge levels. See, these are all the very essential things as for teaching fraternity, for all the teachers, those who are working in engineering institutions, right? So the course outcomes and the preparation of question papers and evaluation methods and types of questions, and how to use the software tools also. So it's a very wonderful, excellent, the interactive session. So on behalf of the Sairam Institute of Technology and the Indian Society for Technical Education, so we are our heartfelt thanks to for a session, sir. So nice of you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you.